We got 25 minutes. We got to go.
What up?
Happy hump day.
Hump day, the camel.
What is going on? What's up, Janelle?
I'm really excited for today. Today's another great Wednesday. You don't even understand. This makes my whole week. The week just gets way better once I know that we're gonna be speaking to someone and we're gonna be adding value to people. It's a great day.
No, I completely agree. Guys, what's going on? Say That Nation. Super excited to be back with you guys again on an amazing Wednesday. I'm even happier because of the series that we are doing right now. The guests that we have lined up for you guys. If you guys this is the first time you're on with us, we're in the middle, our second episode of a series called
Stack Bones and take my money, go and spend it where it's black owned. Black owned business, black owned shops, black owned grocery, black owned lots, black owned houses, black owned streets, black owned everything. Everybody eats.
Everybody eats. Everybody eats. And guys, we have another amazing guest today. I'm super excited to bring this gentleman on. But first, we got to get to that question.
Here we go.
Today's question is:
do you have the right mindset for hiring and creating the right team for your business?
Very good. I know entrepreneurs out there are chomping at the bits yeah, I need to get somebody in this place. Yeah. Please help me.
Help me, please.
So who do we got today, Jay?
Awesome. Well, I am really excited to introduce our guest this afternoon or evening or morning, depending on where you are in the world. I have come to know him through networking in different organizations, but he is truly a visionary. I mean, I've heard him talk about lots of different things about what he wants to do. And what's amazing is that he's also the person that puts in the action behind it to make it happen. He's just an amazing entrepreneur, business owner, and our special guest to today, Anthony Williams.
Our next guest.
Everybody, it's Anthony Williams here, also known as visionary.ant on Instagram. Today I want to drop by and give you guys some gems around personal development.
Yo, Ed, what should I do with my crypto right now? Hey, yo, Ed, who should be on your financial team? Hey, yo, Ed, what are 3 lessons you learned from this? Hey, yo, Ed, what should I be thinking about when buying a home? Hey, yo, Ed, what's a mutual fund?
Oh man! Yo, my favorite one of all of those ants was the elevator.
I mean, yes.
There were some other really good ones, but that elevator one with the classic elevator music. I watched that thing over and over.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, sir.
No, thanks for having me. I mean, honestly, I had to pretend like I was caught off guard, so I'm a terrible actor. So it was interesting to see those videos. Honestly, full transparency, whenever I do content, I literally do not watch the videos when it's posted. I don't.
I do the same thing.
I really hate the sound of my voice. Yeah. I'm looking sometimes. I'm like, damn, who is that guy, man? Oh man. So if anything, I've probably seen the most of the video, honestly, with
You're oh, that's what it looks like.
No, I have that same thing. So welcome to the show.
Welcome. We would love to know a little bit about you. Tell the world, all of our Say That Nation, tell them a little bit about yourself, how you decided to get into business, to be a business owner yourself, and decided to get into wealth management. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So the entrepreneurship bug kind of came from my dad. I come from a Jamaican and Guyanese household. I heard Winston's accent, so I already know. But no, so literally kind of raised in that household, and my dad always told me, Anthony, you only be free if you own your own thing, right? So that kind of stuck with me. So whenever I decided to go to college, it was like I eventually want to have my own business because my dad was a mechanic. He bought and sold cars. He owned one real estate property. He had a taxi cab business. So he had a lot of the different things going on. And he wasn't super rich, super successful. If anything, he's been able to teach me just the work ethic sacrifice, really kind of put in that work and really be strategic and also learning how to network. So I got involved with business, I think when I was in junior year of high school. I actually I was doing something around like network marketing. It was called Vima, and they were like, hey, if you get X amount of people to do X, Y, and Z, you get a Mercedes Benz. So I tried that. That didn't work out. And then I tried multiple things. And then, I got started in wealth management literally when I was a freshman in college, when I went to Howard. I never really woke up and was like, hey, I want to be a financial advisor. Like, this is what I want to do. But I was always around like finance. And I set up my first Roth IRA retirement account when I was 18. When I learned it from my professor, I just did it. Right. And then my dad connected me with some lady. I bought my first life insurance policy when I was 18. So I got a very early start with just setting up these accounts. And I think the way the model works for being a financial advisor, very entrepreneurial. So it was like, I'm building my own business, I'm building my own brand, and I can make money along the way helping people. So quickly got off to a fast start. I was intern for about 3 years. I was number one intern on the East Coast, and I graduated being top 10 in the country. Then I moved back to New York City in 2018. And I was based out on Wall Street. I was, working with attorneys, physicians, business owners, and helping out with financial planning. So that means like I help people out with like investments, insurance, budgeting. I creative ideas to reduce taxes, things like that. So I did that, and then roughly about 3 years into becoming full time. I then opened an office in Harlem, and so I wear two hats. So I'm a wealth management advisor. So I help clients with their finances and help them build out a financial plan. And another hat that I wear is I also focus on attracting talent. So bringing people to this industry, teach them how to make the business successful. Teach them the tricks of the trade, and help them grow their business and help them reach more people. So right now, it's a very entrepreneurial role. Then I also have another network that I started. It's called the Visionary Network, and the purpose of that network is to connect like-minded people through creative events. So just having events around like wine tasting, or having events around mixers, or having events around people being educated around real estate, whatever can help people build wealth. I want to be able to make that happen. I just get enjoy just connecting the dots with people. So I tell people all the time, I'm a connector and entrepreneur first. I just happen to be a wealth advisor. And I like the fact I get to do this type of work because at the stroke of a pen, I'm able to create generational wealth on insurance side. And also at the stroke of another pen, I'm able to help people plan for their retirement and plan for them buying their first homes, right? Like literally just yesterday, I had 3 clients hit me up. Hey, Anthony, I just closed on a home. Can you send me that money from that investment account that I've been saving for like 3 years? So it's super fulfilling. And I'm super excited I get to do that.
Very cool.
Well, that's amazing. And we already have some people who admit that they also love wine tasting. So we need to figure out how to get all of this together.
Definitely. But trust me, stay tuned. We have some events coming through. So definitely would love to invite people. I love being around good people, good vibes, good energy. And that's something we do on this side. So
absolutely.
Awesome.
So before we jump into the question, because something that pops up for me, and I'm so grateful that you explained a little bit about what you do in the wealth management side. What would you say is maybe ignorance is really just where it comes down to, is one of the reasons people don't seek out? Because you mentioned at the state of your life where you started doing these different things from a Roth IRA, and personally, when you said that, I was like, oh, you can do that at that age? Mm. What are some of the things you find that people don't know, or maybe keep people from doing things like what you said, in terms of even I have an insurance policy, and it's not that it's not that expensive, but when I talk to people about it in a general sense, they seem so like baffled. It's like, oh, but you're healthy, and I'm like, why do you think you'd need this? Well, and it's like, oh, that's why I need it, so I'm worried about when I'm not. So what do you in that side of it? Where do you see people are maybe being held up?
So
ideologies about things.
Honestly, man, like I think the answer to that is very simple. I think it's exposure to the information, and their network, right? Like honestly, I went to a pretty good Catholic high school, and my teacher just talked to me about it. And I'm the type of person that we could probably you guys may talk about this in later on in the show. But like once I learn something, I just take action. I just do it. If it makes sense. My teacher said, Anthony, this is a Roth IRA. This is how you set it up. I got my first job at Domino's, and I would just open it up, right? So I think it's exposure to the information, also education, but also being able to relate to the person that you're educating at the same time. Like, when I think about like my life's purpose, like I feel like I was put on this planet to really create generational wealth for our communities, and the way I plan on doing that is by advising them. And I probably say maybe 60 to 70% of my clients look like us or come from the same community. And like they tell me all the time, they've had meetings with other type of financial advisors from other communities, and they're like, "Yeah, I know it makes sense, but like I couldn't relate." And because I couldn't relate, it was like they probably might be standoffish, and then also the other advisor who may not be from that same community may not understand their values, or may not understand how they go about why people go about certain things. So, for example, I had a client of mine; she's an attorney. She was sending her mom a couple $1,000s on a monthly basis, and she told me that 2 years prior she met with a financial advisor from a different background, and he was like, "Why are you sending your parents money? Like, why are they taking from you?" And I was like, is he serious? Like I said, my mom, I give my mom money, I give my little brother money here and there. So I think it's a matter of one, exposure, education, and then also being able to relate to that person that you're speaking to about that information.
Wow. That's actually really powerful. And actually really important for what we're talking about. Because I mean, it's like you can do business, but it's like doing business while Black, right? Like there is something to that. There is, to your point about relating to culture and values and what's important. And if they don't line up, if they're not the same, how you just don't feel comfortable doing business with somebody that it doesn't line up with. And man, that is just, I am like going like left instead of trying to answer this question. My mind is like, so we'll get back to that, but maybe we should answer the question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Anthony, knowing what you know now, with all of your learned experience and wisdom, what does it take? What's the mindset you need to have? How do you need to be thinking when it comes to hiring people for your business? Because we can also relate to the fact that you could hire the wrong people and then that could like make your business tank. So like, what do we need to know?
Yeah, so I think people might have heard this, but it'll be, you want to be slow to hire, quick to fire. I think that's something that's super key. Like, before I found like the right person to work with me, I literally had like maybe 4 other staff members beforehand, and all it was stress. It was wasted time, wasted energy, and then the very last person that we kind of parted ways, I was like, instead of me kind of going out there and hiring the first person, I pretty much went with someone for like 2-3 months and had to really kind of work overtime to get some of the things done, and then literally waited 2 or 3 months, went through many interviews. And I even had that person I was interview with like 5 other people, like honestly really put them through the ringer. And it turned out it was a great hire. Honestly, she's with me to this day. And then she said that, hope she means it, but she's like, "Anthony, you'll be my last boss ever." I'm like, all right, cool. And she wants to be a business owner at some point. So I'm teaching her how to run a business and how to make things happen. So she's helping me, I'm helping her. But I think the biggest thing is you want to be slow to hire, quick to fire. And that's what I'll go back to, and also I wouldn't hire any friends.
Why not, Anthony?
Because there's, I would say boundaries, at the end of the day, when you're friends with somebody, it's like you go from having a friendship into like joking around with each other to then now it's like employee. And it's like they would act a certain way where it's like, listen, if you were employed by somebody else,
you wouldn't do that,
right? You wouldn't act like this. Like I remember one time, this girl I had working for me, she was doing operations. I come back from a meeting and she's gone. I'm like, where are you at? "Oh, Anthony, I was going to let you know I'm actually, on my way home to go do X, Y, and Z, and I was going to text you." I'm like what? What? You're going to work remote? What? No, we don't do that. So it was kind of that lesson was like, yeah, because we were really, really close friends. She was like my first friend in high school. I've known her for over 10 years. And, she's a very smart girl. It just didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. So that's why. And I had another friend, and this situation was more so like me helping him out. And it was kind of like me just putting money in his pockets and me teaching him about the investment industry, insurance industry. But it just wasn't his thing. So it was like, I was paying you money, wasting time. Had another person. It was, oh man. Yeah, so now I just do not hire any friends. And if I do have friends that want to work with me, would be more so kind of like business partners. So like we'll probably be on the other side of the table, so we can have that type of boundary.
That's good stuff.
So what?
Boundaries.
Oh, sorry. Did you have a question?
No, no, no. I'm just saying the word he brought up about boundaries, because I think in all relationships we can see where. But go from there, and I'll bring it up afterwards.
Yeah. No, okay. So all of that is good. So thank you for getting into that a little bit about the friends thing, because I think that's important. Because you want to help, right? But sometimes it's like better that like I could just give you some money rather than like come to work for me, because that's not going
Yeah.
to work out long run. I want to like save the friendship. And then the other thing that I'm thinking of is, okay, so I got it. Long to fire, long to hire, quick to fire. But what does that look like? Like what are you looking for? Like what are the things that like would make for someone good to work with? Like what are you thinking? Like and
Yeah.
what have you learned like in the like over
Yeah.
time?
So what I've learned now is that the person that's working with me, we are complete opposites. Like I don't understand how she does half the things she does in the time that she does it. Like we do a lot. We do a lot of value. Like we do a lot, and she's the one managing it all, from the insurance side of the business to the investment side of the business. Like I'm just like wow. So I think what I had to learn was really just understand what are my weaknesses first. What am I good at versus what I'm not good at. And because I'm an entrepreneur, it's like my weaknesses are amplified times 1,000. So it's like I'd actually be losing money because of my weaknesses within the within the business. So what I did was I'm good at being in front of people, presenting, building relationships, coming up creative ideas. I'm a visionary. I can think big, and I can lead others to get there. But when it comes like the details, like the very small details, trying to manage like 10 things at the same time, that is not me. I'm like super focused on one thing, big picture. So she pretty much complimented me. And we actually learned from each other. Like I learned how, maybe I shouldn't move so fast. And she's like, Anthony, slow down. And so we just learn from each other, and I help her develop. She helps me. She develops me as an individual as well. So I think it's really just understanding what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and then based on what your weaknesses are, figure out who is that person that can fill in that gap. Because if you can do that, it allows you to scale your business because you just focus on doing what you do good all the time. So like for me these days, I just focus on seeing people. That's all I do. But back in the day, I was seeing people. I was doing applications. I was making phone calls. I was doing everything. But now I'm like, I see people. And because I'm now focused on my strength, like I'm happier and I'm more fulfilled and I bring my best self to every single meeting because all the other things that I'm not good at that drain my energy, I'm not even touching.
Yeah, that's really wise. Is that something that translates to a resume though, or
Yeah, good question.
like 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 literally, I'm thinking about that woman that you're referring to, and on it did it say where you aren't great, I'll do like what I mean? Like how does that
Yeah.
play
So
out?
so it was one obviously her work experience. So like someone
Okay,
like things that I'm not good. I'm not good at the detail stuff. I'm not really good with paperwork.
okay,
Like I'm not, like when it comes to managing like 10 tasks at the same time, I'm more of a delegator than I mean, I just one thing I do, I just bring people in and get the clients. But when it comes to like doing the day-to-day stuff, it's too much. It's too many, especially with the type of industry that I'm in. There's so many different regulations. Like there's so many different type of paperwork. So her past job has something to do with like admin. So okay, cool, admin. All right, how long were you being in this position? And then based off her attention to detail. So I forget the small details of what was on her resume, but I remember reading it and it was like, okay, cool. Like you're all the things that I suck at, you're good at. And it didn't really like, it's not like, hey, I'm good at this. And then this is what you're bad at. So I can
yeah.
really more so just like looking for those traits of that person. And then that's when I hired her to come through.
When you said so like okay, so you've got your own business, right? And so you're like captain of this ship. And you know that you're looking for someone who enjoys and is good at doing the things that are not your cup of tea necessarily. And so granted, just like Winston said, like you're going through all these different resumes of people who are, filing in. I'm just thinking of the sort, right? Like I'm thinking like, what do you do to really sort through that? Because apart from reading it, but you said you put her through something, and I'm really curious.
Yeah. So I even delegated hiring her too. Like I'm like a master delegator, to be honest. It's like I built relationships, throughout my time in the firm. But I think, one, I found someone that was good at finding people. Because in the past, before the last four people, it was like I was a terrible person at sorting resumes. I was, when it comes to being an employer, it's like I was bad at it initially. So I was like, I can't keep running in the same circle. So I kind of tapped into a few of my resources and I reached out to a recruiter. I was like, hey, can you help me? And she helped me, and she kind of went through those resumes. So I had like a pre-filter, and then after we did it, I did an interview. I mean, after she told me about her, she said, Anthony, I actually like her. I think she's good. Mind you, this person that told me she liked her, she was good at finding people. And after that, I then had her speak to one of my other business partners, where they did an interview on her. Had another person do an interview with her. Then after that, that's when I saw her, and then did a quick interview. And then I was like, at this point, we've done filtered, like, let's say out of 100 applications, like she finally made it through, and it was like, I'm getting good vibes, let's go ahead and make it happen, right? And I just gave her the offer on the spot. So because I've delegated and leveraged other people's expertise that are good at these things, I was able to make a decision quickly. Yeah, let's bring on, let's hire her. So that's kind of how I went about it.
I love that.
So wait, does that mean like other people went through this process too, and she's just the one who made it all the way through? Were there like other people who? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is so cool. This
Yeah, I
always
focus on leverage. Like, it's like, I know what I'm good at, so let me just find someone who's good at the things that I'm not good at. And then, like, literally when it comes to building out the visionary network, I literally like partner with somebody that has experience like building out a network. So it was like she had expertise on building something out in like a different state, and I was like, hey, listen, come work with me. I have a vision, and she bought into it, and then I pay her for her time, and now I'm like, hey, I just have the vision, we meet, and then she's making it happen.
I love that. I was saying there's a guest we had on, Kelly Work. Shout out to her.
Shout out, Kelly.
And well, the things that are so similar about that is just that idea of finding someone. I don't think she put her person through all of what yours had to go through. But the thing that I think was the same is the fact that you both recognized where you weren't your strongest, and were, I'm going to say, humble enough to say, in order for my business to grow, or even for my own peace of mind, I need to have some of this stuff delegated. I know Janelle and I talk about it even in our business, and I think it's something Janelle is literally going through right now. I mean, I think one of our last conversations was literally the exact words of, I need to delegate more of the responsibilities of our business in order for this thing to work for me. And I wonder how many of us are missing out on the success in our business because we're putting too much on our plate, right? Like, you're not able to say, look, I'm just not great at this, and I need someone to do it, and I'm okay with taking that step and giving this work to somebody else.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is like perspective. So, like, I remember, like, before I even considered hiring somebody, like, I literally tried many different things to like actually do the things I wasn't good at. Like, I blocked out time on my calendar, and then I, kind of got into rabbit holes. I did all these things, and then at one point I was just scared financially to hire somebody, but then it was like, it was an investment. It's an investment. Like, it's an investment in your business. And one perspective that I recently got too, because I have about 3 people on the staff. I look at paying people in 3 months. So it's like, let's say someone gets $50,000 a year salary, or $45,000, or 60 grand or something like that. I'll pretty much would take that number, divide it by 4, and be like, cool. I'm like, worst case scenario, I have to pay this person, let's say, $15,000 for the next 3 months. And it's like, okay, because if it doesn't work on the next 3 months, I can literally just say, listen, it's not working out.
And move on.
We live in a state where it's like, it's at will employment. So like in 90 days, if it's not working out, no hard feelings, we need to move on. So that's the new mindset shift. Because I remember when it came to hiring people, I was like, yeah, how am I going to afford to hire more people? And I was really focused too much on the future, where I need to just focus on the now. Nowadays, I just focus on the now. And I look at hiring people for 90 days or so. And if it doesn't work out, then we're out of here. Because if it works out, you should be making more money. You should be able to be freed up to do what you do best, which is either selling, which is either drafting the presentations, or whatever that is. You should be able to do more of what you're good at.
That's good. Wow, that's really good. That's a nugget for anybody taking notes.
I mean, really.
Yeah, that is 90 days. And I think it's interesting because larger companies have that as their business model to something, right? They're doing reviews of you. I remember my first job out of college, a woman, same thing, 90 days after I started, she, called me and it was like, yeah, Winston's not working. And I'm like, Like, and it's so funny, hindsight now looking back, I'm like so happy because in my mind, I would have thought as an employee, like, oh man, I need to be, and I was so blessed. Her letting me go within a month, I started my job as a real estate agent, and that was the next 7 years of my life. So, on both sides of things,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly. Because, but before that too, like, because also when it comes to me, like, because I have two sides to the business, right? I hire people to help me support my practice, but also hire people to come into the business and do what I do. And in the past, I used to be like, I used to be so gonna hold on them, like, hey, this person's gonna stay, let them stay. But there's like, if I let them stay and they think they want to be here, it's like the longer they're here, the more they hurt themselves. And
yeah,
then the more they probably would hurt the culture because they're not doing what they need to do. So it's like when people nowadays, when people used to, back in the people used to leave and because it didn't work out, I used to feel the type of way. Now it's like I'm happy for people because it's like, hey, listen, at the bare minimum, if this didn't work out for you, I know for a fact, based on the skills that you learned while you were here trying to build your
yeah,
business,
something else, yeah,
you can easily transfer somebody else. I literally talked to somebody today. I was just at checking on her. Hey, how's it going? Did you find a new job? And she's like, yeah, she found a new job in tech, making more money. And it was like, good job. And she was like, yeah, Anthony, literally, I knew things that, and she got hired pretty fast. She was like, Anthony, I didn't know I knew as much as I knew. I was like, yeah, like we really trained you out here. Don't, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean it's not going to work anywhere else. So I think it's now the way I look at it is more so like no hard feelings. I wish you the best. It is what it is. And then we can always reconnect at some point in the future when it comes to business.
I wanna. Oh, you have something? Because I had something just real quick.
Go, go, go,
Okay,
go.
cool. So that mindset to me is incredibly interesting. One, I think it speaks to a level of maturity that you have to have. And I think even on your when you talk about the skill that you really have about talking and connecting to people, like when you were talking earlier about maybe why some financial advisors don't connect with people. Um, and in my mind, what I'm thinking of is just this. It's almost like a selfishness. It's like if you aren't providing for my needs, then I can't help you or I can't work with you. Whereas if you have that broader mindset of we're all here to kind of co-create and make each other better. So you not working with me doesn't mean that you aren't good at what you do. You just may not fit what I need from my business. And even what you just shared about reaching out to somebody who I'm use the term fired or whatever, let go or separated from, to see how they're doing. I don't know too many. That woman, not
Yeah.
without naming who they are, never reached out to see how things worked out. But how better would the work environment or just job culture be if we weren't so? And I mean, I don't know how old you're, Anthony, but I remember just like even the generation that before me, there was this idea that companies and the term loyal got thrown around so often, right? It's like, if I put in time here, there's this thing on the other side. And now I feel many people are out for self. So they go to companies with their mindset of, I just want to build up my resume. I just want to get some things knotted off for me so that when I leave, I can get more money somewhere else. And there isn't this sense of, why don't I come here and learn? Oh, who said this, uh if you went to a place with the mindset of learning something, oh, wasn't it doesn't she know Anthony? Lillian? Am I?
Lillian Kinshore?
Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. And it was so powerful to me because she said, imagine if you went to a company and your mindset was, I may not be here forever. I don't know that part, but I'm here to learn.
Learn.
I want to learn
Yes.
from the
You
managers.
did say that.
I,
Yeah.
I want to get my skills better. Because then whether I am still here in a year, in 3 months, whatever, I'm leaving better than when I came here. And I want I want the company I'm working for to be better after I leave. And when she said it was so mind blowing to me because I never, that's not even something I considered, going to a company and saying to yourself, I'm just here to get better as a person, as an employee, as a skilled whatever. I'm just here to get better. And to listen to the young lady that you said left you guys, it's that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to her for
And
that.
And to add on that, I think the biggest thing is just the mindset. You want to have an abundant mindset. I think that's the thing. People always operating from a scarcity mentality,
Yeah.
which is why they can be selfish. Which is like, hey, I'm gonna do this for me, or like I'm gonna take this task from you because I want to make sure I look good. Instead of being, hey, you take the task, you handle that, you handle this. It's fine because then we have like the whole concept of karma and like being abundant. Things will come back to you, right? So it's just having that abundant mentality in every single area of your life, right? So it's like, yeah, she left, cool, all right, we're doing what we got to do. It was supposed to be easy, so I'm gonna keep it pushing. So I think it's important to have that abundant mentality rather than have that scarcity mindset.
I love that.
That's huge. That was actually what I was going to ask. I was like, what is it? What's like the switch in your mind, especially when you were talking about some of the things that stopped you from wanting to hire? One, you were thinking like, you were probably thinking like, okay, this is like a double question, but in my mind, I was thinking most of us are taught like, oh, you're good at this, but like, what are your weaknesses and strengthen your weakness? So like, who told you that like you don't need to strengthen your weakness? Like, I'm very curious, like how that.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Oh, I
Yeah,
was just about to say, perfect.
But yes, and in addition to that, though, like there's like a decision or something, like a switch in your mind that went off when it was like, I can no longer do this. And like, I have to hire, even though, right, it's a lot of money and like all that stuff. So I really want to get into that in overtime.
Absolutely. But before we do go, we do want the audience to know where they can find you. So let me bring this up. No, you talked about it already, but you are on, and you said this is you're more on your Instagram than your personal website, right?
Yeah. You can get me multiple ways. So obviously you can check me out on IG. You can check me out on my company's website. It's anthonywilliams.nm.com. You can also see me on LinkedIn. Just Google my name, Anthony Williams, financial advisor, Anthony Williams. I can't say the company because I want to get them mad. But yeah, just check me out on IG. You'll probably get me, and then I check my messages frequently. So, but yeah.
Speaking of Lily, there she is, right there.
There she is. Yeah, we did an event like literally like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, amazing mindset. Well, and obviously from the company she keeps with you. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's amazing.
So, like Janelle said, guys, if you want the rest of what Andy's about to go in on, you definitely got to join us live on Overtime on Patreon. Make sure you click that. Janelle, did she throw it in the chat already?
I am
For
going
everybody
to
who's
right
on
now.
first time. You guys are going to see the link to that, so you guys can join Anthony, Janelle, and myself there. Again, thank you guys for everybody that was on live with us today. Thank you for everybody who's supporting this new series, Black Own. Let's own February, people.
I'm so ready for that. Thank you to everyone who's been on. Make sure to subscribe and like, because when you do that, that tells the algorithm that we provide value and shares it with other people. So it's really important that you subscribe and like, and then join us over on Patreon. When you join us on Patreon, you help us get better mics, better cameras, and get better people. So that way you guys can get more information and more value.
Absolutely. Let's grow those businesses. So, guys, thank you again. And
as always, remember you deserve a good life.
Say that. See you guys next week.